Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. Wonders will never end in Nigeria. 35 CSOs, that's civil society organizations, have come up to tell Nigerians that during the period of the probe of NDDC staff and even the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, that there was a bulk withdrawal from the NDDC account, a huge withdrawal from the NDDC account. But before we continue with the news, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly hit on that red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. The news have it that 35 leading Niger Delta based civil society organization and community organization on Wednesday raised the alarm that while the National Assembly probe into the activities of Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) was ongoing, bulk withdrawal was made from its account. The civil society organizations demanded immediate freezing of the withdrawal from all NDDC accounts and cessation of reckless activity at the interventionist agency. The groups, led by Nimo Basi, Health of Mother Aid Foundation, including David Ugolo, African Network for Environmental and Economic Justice, Ane Ken Henshaw, We, the People, and Tija Akban, Policy Alert, in a communique said while the probing of the NDDC was ongoing at the National Assembly, a bulk withdrawal was said to have been made from the Commission's accounts. And according to them, they said this is unacceptable in the face of the Commission's history of fiscal recklessness. They also demanded the publication of the details of all contractors to the NDDC against the contract they executed on behalf of the Commission, including the list of NGOs that benefited from the cash grant from the NDDC. All emerging revelation of malfeasance in the NDDC must be thoroughly investigated and culprits duly prosecuted. The commencement and expedition execution of the forensic audit of the Commission, the audit process must be conducted with globally recognized audit firms with experience in similar audit exercises who must be selected through an open, free, and competitive bidding process. Credible civil society organizations must be allowed to closely monitor the audit process to ensure fairness, accuracy, and compliance with the accounting highest standards. We are saddened by the fact that rather than develop the region, the huge allocation to NDDC has rather bequeathed a legacy of abandonment, neglect, and underdevelopment. Despite the huge yearly allocation to the Commission in the last 20 years, poor management and corruption has made it impossible for the agency to exert any reasonable measure of positive impact on the region. To ensure we do not drift off in the sea of allegation, it is important not to lose sight of what the real issues are. We need to determine what factors led to the level of reckless looting that has been associated with the Commission since its inception. We also need to develop strategies that will disincentive stealing and mismanagement at the NDDC and ensure that the Commission lives up to its mandate. It is important to note that the corruption in the NDDC strives essentially because of political influence and patronage. Successive governments in Nigeria have treated the Commission as a conduit for settlement and compensation. The decision as to who leads the NDDC at different points in times appear to have never been done on the basis of track record competence or any form of merit, but rather out of consideration for settlement. In this regard, the presidency share equally in the blame over what the commission has become. And that's the news. And it's not surprising, it's not surprising to Nigerians because these things keep on happening without any due diligence in place. Sometimes I begin to wonder if these guys are doing these things intentionally. If, for example, in any setting, whenever audits are carried out or investigations are carried out In respect to any organization, reckless spending, automatically there must be an order by the investigating team to halt every form of withdrawal. It's a normal thing. We can't be investigating an account. We cannot be talking about financial recklessness or financial misappropriation, and things are still going on in the account which ought to be investigated. It doesn't happen that way. But unfortunately, just imagine what has been reported, that withdrawals were still ongoing. How? Does it mean that the National Assembly do not have experts who will understand that, as at a time like this, they should halt every form of activity in NDDC until when the final report comes out? Because let's be real to ourselves. We're talking about audits here, we're talking about investigation, we're talking about probing, and then they are still withdrawing, there are still bulk withdrawals from the account. Though they didn't spell out the exact amount, but we all know that it must have been to the tune of some good billions and all of that. And that's why we're still where we are. People seem not to really value things. And that's why, setting up a system that checkmates them is not there, because those things ought to be. If there is an internal control in a place where before things are signed, it must pass through 2 or 3 or 4 tables. All of these things that we are hearing wouldn't have been there. But guess what? If you look at public accounts, that's public accounting system, which is used by Nigeria. If you just look at the narrative, you will be so shocked how well prepared these things are, and how it doesn't even give room for any form of looting or any form of anyhow withdrawal. But unfortunately, those things are not being applied. How can we still be talking about issue of reconciling a lot of expenses that have been taking place in the commission, and then withdrawals are still ongoing? Who permitted those withdrawals? Is it Pondei who had fainted because he couldn't defend the expenses? Who actually was behind it? It's so shocking. I'm telling you, because most of us have worked in different organizations. We've worked in different well-known, reputable organizations. Things like this will happen. They will even hold the salary of all the staff. For the now, we are carrying out investigation. We are probing expenses, and for that reason, we will not allow, even in just common, for example, some of these international NGOs. If they perceive any form of fraud, they will just place a lien. A lien is something that will not permit you to withdraw from the account. The monies can keep coming in, but when they place a lien on the account, it stops every form of debit transaction. That's the debit transaction means withdrawal from that account. If little international companies like that, I'm talking about the CSOs, will have an idea of that, how about a country with a track record of 60 years, around and all of that? Doesn't mean we do not know. Of course we know. But because, unfortunately, the country is so used to corruption, that's why people will still have their mind during a period of probe to say, let us eat the remaining one immediately, before they will start closing up everything. Look at what happened yesterday. If you check our feed, you will see it when we were talking about Nigeria at the verge of losing its, independence, losing its economic and social independence to China and all of that. When we're talking about that issue, it was so shocking that the person of that's the Minister of Transport, Amechi, was still found pleading that they should not probe anything so that China can give us more loans. And I was like, doesn't mean these guys don't have any feelings for this country? That we have seen a clause, the National Assembly have seen a clause, lawmakers have seen a clause that will trade the sovereignty of this country, of this legal entity, and you are talking about they should not shout, though, they shouldn't talk about probe now, because if not, China is going to stop issuing all this. Does it mean you don't even understand? You don't even have a rethink about the future of your children? Or possibly at the maybe you're planning to exit Nigeria at one point, maybe travel abroad and stay there and leave the country to suffer. Just to show you that these guys, they don't have feelings. They don't even care what's going on. Whether it is a project you're trying to complete or not, issues of this importance must be taken into consideration. But let's not digress. We are looking at NDDC. It's really unfortunate that things like this are happening. Now they have published a list of huge number of lawmakers who have been involved. They've given it to the ethics committee in Senate. We are waiting because they said they are going to submit their report, I think, in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We are waiting to see what the report will look like. And not just the report, because we've heard of so many reports. The question is, what will be the punishment that will be issued out to these people? Because as at this point, if such a thing is concretized and they see proofs pointing to the fact that they were involved in the contract scam, I think they should be stripped of their victory in the election polls, and they should be thrown out and possibly prosecuted, because that's the ideal thing that should be done. Nigerians are already so tired of the reports of corruption, and whenever this report comes up, nothing visible is being done. It's so tiring. Someone came up, very reputable person came up and said Nigeria will never change because what they do there is to share money at the top. And we are seeing it by events that is unfolding on a daily basis. It seems some of those, justifications were actually true. It's really bad. That's where we're going to leave it. Please do well to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget also to comment. Jesus loves you, and Jesus